So the more I delve into this and gain more clarity and what happened with this current administration and how they were able to dupe, bamboozle the mass of Grenadian people and secure their position, is the more I understand that all of this was done and was rife with charlatanism. So it is quite clear that these guys are master charlatans and masterful opportunists, branding themselves and painting themselves as some special type of brilliant people, masquerading and painting themselves and branding themselves as some young, masterful geniuses. And they're young and they're bright. And that is why you see, the good thing about it, you can only pretend for so long. Because when you're taken to task, when you have task at hand to fulfill, then you see exactly the competence or the ability of the people who are telling you that they were so competent and capable. That's the thing about life. That is the thing about life. That when you're put to do the job, then everything is unmasked. Then you see who is capable and who is incapable. So again, one of the hitters said, guess what? We came and we met the Imani program, which I was surprised. They actually admitted that they came and met the Imani program there. But guess what? Some people are still there and it was there too long. And guess what? We improved the program. Again, I would say that the hardest part of doing something is starting it. The hardest part of doing something is starting it. Because first and foremost, it is conceived with an idea in the mind. And that in itself, the fact that you can conceive, the fact that you can see there is a need for, just shows a mark of proactiveness. It shows a mark of intelligence. But they come and they met the Imani program. It's like, yeah, we improved the Imani program. You see, I understand there is succession in everything. Kids inherit stuff from their parents. But the sad part of it is to be ungrateful and disrespectful to the people who laid the foundation. We all know the foundation of a building is critical. If you have an excellent foundation, then guess what? You have something upon which you can build and strengthen your structure. But a rotten foundation, forget about it. So again, let's look at the Fort George project. Again, keep in mind, conceiving an idea, starting something is one of the most difficult things, but one of the most important steps in getting something done. So you meet the Fort George rehabilitation project with funding secured for that project. So all you have to do now is to try to get this done. And now they tell you that, so in everything that they see or that was there, they have to find some sort of brango or some sort of old talk or some sort of spin to make it seem like they are doing something so good. So what do they say now on the Fort George project? We are excellent implementers. So they can't take credit for conceiving the idea, for securing the funding, for having everything in place, but just to execute, right? Just to execute the project. But so they say, no, guess what? Yeah, we give the NNP. They didn't even say they give the NNP credit. Just say they come and met that day. So obviously, okay, credit is due to the NNP. But now they're saying, they always have to paint themselves and market themselves as some sort of masterful genius and masterminds. And they're young and they're brilliant. So guess what they say? Oh, the NNP secured the funding, or the NNP conceived the idea. The NNP had the rehabilitation project set and ready to go. But guess what? They didn't implement it, so we are the best implementers. But hear me out. I mean, again, but I understand this is like kids on their first stage show and the parents is in the audience looking at the show and they're like, oh, I got to do this really well. I got to impress daddy and mommy, And the thing about it, no matter what I do on stage, guess what? Mommy and daddy's going to clap. So you see, you have the NDIs as the parents in the audience. And every little thing the kids do on stage, they're like, yeah, awesome. Whoa, you actually walked across the stage. Amazing. So again, you come again, you met $500 million in the treasury and you paid off the pension. And you, whoa, yeah, top of the back. Guess what? We paid the pension. Kudos. You want kudos, right? You want kudos. Then you come again. You met probably another $500 million for a project with NASA to, make some changes and, and that too, you try to take credit for. Like, oh, they almost lost the funding. You're like, oh, that money was there and it was not used. And then you guys almost lost the funding. You had to renegotiate to secure the funding. And still, up to now, this is on hold. Nothing's being done. So one thing is clear right here. There is a clear pattern of charlatanism and opportunism. So let's go back to the genesis of the charlatanism and the opportunism. And it started where you came and you met an NDC institution which was built over decades, okay, in which people use the intellectual minds, the physical bodies, right, and created that institution and built that institution over decades. And you come in now and you hijack that institution through cunning, charlatanism, and opportunism. So I don't know why anybody would be surprised that you would continue that pattern of behavior. Why would anybody be surprised? You guys are masters of spin. And I can understand the young kids would be all excited because they don't even understand what's going on. Like, yeah, oh, wow, the NDC is doing so much. Yeah, oh, look at that. If they walked over to one side of the street and walked back to the other side, then, oh, wow, look at that. This is incredible. But it's you grown people, okay, who should know better are the ones that I'm disappointed in. Okay? And all of this stems from an intense hatred and jealousy of Dr. Keith Mitchell. And again, you remember when I said to you guys that the sister party of the NDC internationally is the Progressive Alliance and the Democrat Party. So do you see any parallels in how the Democrat Party functions in the United States and its intense hatred that it promotes through the media mob for Donald Trump? There is a clear and distinct parallel to what is being done on a local level with the NDC promoting such bitterness, such anger, such intense hatred of Dr. Keith Mitchell. And it stems from fundamental jealousy. Because hatred, a lot of the times, okay, stems from jealousy. So it's the same thing in the United States. Okay? It's the same thing in the United States. That intense hatred of Donald Trump would not allow the Democrat Party and their minions to accept the great things that that man is doing. Just off the bat, came in, $1 trillion saved for the country by pulling out of the Paris climate deal. $1 trillion. And now they will try to sabotage everything this man is trying to do to become fiscally conservative and fiscally responsible and save government and ultimately the taxpayer money. They will try to sabotage that. You see, there was a clown show when he was giving that speech to Congress. And Green started to act weird and, well, at least they were not playing around. They had no tolerance for sabotage and they kicked him out of the Congress, But yeah, back to what I was saying. There's clear parallels between what is being done by the NDC, the promotion of hatred and bitterness and anger against Dr. Keith Mitchell, and what is done in the United States with Donald Trump. So it's always easy. And this is a typical socialist, Marxist, leftist strategy. They find someone to scapegoat. They find someone to demonize. They find something or some organization. There's always some evil that they claim that they're trying to fight against. That is how they justify the very incompetent things that they do, and sometimes the very wicked things that they themselves do. They say, we're doing it all in the name of protecting the people. That is how, over decades, socialist, Marxist, and communist governments justify what they did. All in the name of, we're doing this to protect us from that particular evil scapegoat, or that particular evil person, or that particular evil organization. That is their strategy. Now, you would think, the grown people would see through that, right? But no. They're the ones got even more hoodwinked. I mean, I've spoken to some of these people. Okay? They're the ones got even more hoodwinked. They're the ones got even more bamboozled and caught by this. They just got caught up in this wave of emotional thinking. And they seem to have lost every sense of logic, every sense of reason, every sense of critical thinking, and as if a drunken man or woman stumbling through this political landscape in Grenada right now. That is how these people are acting. That is how these people are acting. Grown people. And I tell you, this is some of the people who had the experiences during PRG. So this is some of the people who had the experiences during Gary. This is some of the people who had the last 30, 40 years experiences during NNP. And all of a sudden, blinded, literally blinded by intense hatred of Keith Mitchell, that they are unwilling to see anything good that this man would have done or the NNP would have done. They have actually demonized this man. So again, the podcast here, they're talking that nonsense about Bush is true, Bush is true, he didn't do nothing. Well, guess what? A man and his administration gave you a national stadium. Okay? Gave you a national stadium where the bulk of Grenadians can use and enjoy. And then you worried about him not giving his own constituency a mini stadium? Who are you selling this to? I mean, who is drinking the Kool-Aid that you sell? Come on. The man gave a national stadium to what? The population grade is what, 100,000 now? To 100,000 people. And you worried about the few thousands in his constituency, which he gave a park, and it is established that the park is a pretty good park. You know, he himself said it. That people, some of the best matches, cricket matches, are played in a park. So it tells me one thing. That Dr. Keith Mitchell understands something very, very well. That if he does something on a national level that will affect all Grenadians and not just his constituency, and we notice other people, they don't think like that. And I'll tell you why. I'm coming to it. So Dr. Mitchell now realized that if he does something nationally that benefits the whole population, guess what? The people who are locally populated in his constituency would also benefit. And that is the magic. That is the reason why they are flawed. They cannot understand why this man has so much support and why the people in his constituency in the Northwest are so loyal. Because he doesn't have to come and do anything specific in his constituency. He does nationally. So much so impacts their lives. Economically, socially, politically, and otherwise. That they say, wow, we love this man. And that's why you cannot break that wall in the Northwest. You may be fanciful and talk about it. Imagine 40 years of support. And you guys come in 2.5 years and you want to downplay that? Are you nuts? Are you nuts? You want to come in 2.5 years and be fanciful and say, oh, we're going to break the Northwest Wall. But let's get back to the mentality of Dr. Keith Mitchell and the NNP. They don't do things for quid pro quo. Listen to me carefully. Dr. Mitchell and the NNP don't do things for quid pro quo. Not at all. Which is something that cannot be said about the NDC. It's like, if they give you something, they own you. You're done. You belong to them. There's no something for nothing here. For them, it's something for something. But look how the NNP handled the COVID situation. You think they only took care of their people? But then we saw what was said by the leader of the administration in Boucherjou. Remember this. If I don't know you, or I don't know your family, guess what? You are only a statistic. Let me play it again for you so you can see what I'm talking about.
We need to know one another. So we can't just argue and fight for what I will get. When you don't know your people. So sometimes the reason the other side getting is because we're not saying who are the real NDC people who need to get. So if we are telling the MP or the caretaker, these are our people, and let's go see them or bring the people, then we will know each other better. But when I know your family, you're just another number. You're just another statistic. But when I know your family, you're just another number. You're just another statistic.
Now you know how serious this is. And I understand why some of the grown people are hurt, in the NDC and Grenada. I mean, some of them are socialist Marxists. They're remnants of the old PRG. So you'll expect them to be a little hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because Dr. Keith Mitchell represents, someone who was a bulwark against these socialist Marxists post-83. And he, in some respects, kept them in check. After they destroyed what they created, they're pissed because for 40 years, he pretty much altered the landscape of politics in Grenada. And that is why you see some of them are salivating and would be happy to see the ascension, or would have been happy to see the ascension of an NDC. Because in some respects, it's like a realization of their personal dreams. Yeah, we did it. We got rid of our arch enemy, Dr. Keith Mitchell. That is why they're so happy. And that is why they have become a go-along, get-along gang. They will go along with anything just because it means they got rid of, Dr. Keith Mitchell. Yeah, the NDC won. Irregardless of incompetence. Irregardless. But I've already seen some of them and I've noticed a change of heart. In many respects, they're not saying it, but you could see intellectually they have pivoted. And I'm sure to gauge in that. So I gauge it. They realize oh my God, this is not what we really voted for, But they're afraid to say anything because they have already been displaced. I mean, they're sidelined. They're just like, a lot of them for sentimental reasons. It's not like they're some sort of strong architecture of the NDC party. By no means. But they still want to feel relevant. So they kind of like, on the sidelines, a little funding here and there, do what they do, fight among each other for little positions in, in those NDC chapters. Yeah. To remain relevant. And they will go along to get along. And then you would see that the fresh batch, would displace them. They sideline them. And the loyalists to the new evolved NDC, and I hate to say NDC because this is no NDC. Again, opportunism. Nation builders, youth for change. They're so brilliant and they're so young. Why didn't you create your own organization and party from scratch? No, that's too hard. You crazy? Can't do that. That requires a lot of work. So what do? It's easier to be opportunistic and hijack an established institution. No wonder you saw in the persuader in the parliament, and he was like, why do you think he was blowing so hard? He's like, holy cow, what the hell did I do? What did I get the NDC administration in? And what did I get the country in? Did you see? I made a little video about it. Did you see his response after Minister Telford finished speaking? This guy felt, or he looked like, someone who has the world on his shoulder. You should look at it again. Look at that video I made about that. But the bottom line is this. This new administration, this new crew is rife with charlatanism and opportunism. And I don't see that change. But what is sad is that they're not intellectually honest. They said they're so brilliant and so intellectual, but they are not intellectually honest. Because it's okay to have succession. It's okay to want to continue something that's already there. But you have to have respect for the people who created it. That's key. Because there's a kind of weird kind of mystic with things like that. When you don't respect those who came before you or who set up something for you to inherit, guess what? See what happened to the Democrat Party in the United States? When they were high and mighty, and they did everything possible to try to sabotage and try to destroy Donald Trump. Eventually, the mass of people saw through the scam and the opportunism. So if history is any testament, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You think people won't see the light? You know, remember the old Marley song? You can fool some of the people some of the times, but you can't fool all of the people all of the times. Okay. They will awaken. I guarantee you it. Guten Abend.